night. And they did a thing too where you at the end where everyone would just be aligned kind of like in a position like of any position, so you would be able to go on your back and they would feed them so they all would go on your back. It was
Nice, that's really cool.
It was neat. It was so much fun.
John, did you hear that? We need to try goat yoga.
You do need to try to go do that.
You and I can do that sometimes.
Crazy.
When I can finally do yoga again, you and I, goat
It was
yoga.
super fun.
See you guys.
I was in.
God.
Yeah, it looks like it, doesn't it?
Is that just blanked or is it not on?
I think that's
There was one blue light. I didn't know if one, I don't use this room anymore. Oh, it started again.
on. Right, yeah.
What is that? What, we need to find out what that.
I think it's like HVAC. There's only when it's like. cold.
Yeah, I got it.
Yeah, I've been hearing it all morning, right?
Yeah.
It's it went away for a while.
Yeah.
It bothered us all last year and came back.
You are like.
It is. They said, but he's not a couple of inches long, you know, it's like getting bigger and bigger, well, so. That's it, isn't it? What is it?
Okay, that's fine. I know it's not an exciting forecast, so. So I give credit to those who are here because this is, who knew?
You can have that.
Yeah. Let's snow. And you guys are coming. No, it's gonna snow. Yeah, we got Marisa, it's no introduction.
Thanks, Christian.
Thank you for coming.
Well, yeah, when we first scheduled this, I was going to be in November, but then he needed to switch me, and who knew that I'd pick one of the most boring weeks of the semester to do this. This is the Ken Reeves forecast discussion sponsored by Campus Weather Service. I know both John and Bill mentioned that Ken was an 83 grad from this department, and he really loved these discussions. He would come all the time to them on his own time. He wasn't only coming when he had to do things, he would come and he would do things with us. He was also a big proponent back in the day. We had a SUBAM's calendar that we would sell every year, and it was based on photos that people in the department would submit. And he always bought a gazillion of those calendars, and that's when I was the SUBAM's advisor, so I always appreciated that. So, and not even on purpose, Ken was known for wearing purple, and I just realized as I'm standing here, I'm wearing purple today, so yay. So State College today, it's not a very beautiful slide, my apologies. When we're talking about averages, upper 50s to near, we're getting closer to that 30-degree mark for average lows. Records, upper 70s today. That's something to keep in mind as we look at the warmth to the end of this week. Is there going to be a chance for records? We won't be hitting any record lows. Sunrise today was at 7:31. Sunset tonight is at 6:19. And then look at what I put on here 2 weeks from today. Some excitement. So it's actually 2 weeks from yesterday that we're going to fall back with our clocks. Now I have a question for the students in the room. No, not you people in the back row, not you misfits in the back row. We are currently in what? Eastern blank time. Eastern blank blank DS. Tell me what the DNS stand for. We are, what's that?
Yeah.
Yes.
Did you put an S on the internet? I heard it.
What, I couldn't hear, but wait, so it's what time?
Daylight saving.
Daylight saving time. Thank you, Dennis. There is no S at the end of saving. There's not savings time, it's saving time. We're in daylight saving time now. We move to standard time in 2 weeks. And 2 weeks from today, look at this. I'm a morning person, so I like this. It'll be nice to have the sun coming up when I'm coming home from the gym, but the 5:02 is a little rough, I admit. The photo on there is not from today. I apologize, it's from yesterday, looking at some foliage. And yes, we are at peak foliage here in central Pennsylvania. I think that we're probably in the red already, because this is what DCNR put out last Thursday. And I went out foliage chasing yesterday. And there are some spots. I went down between here and Honey, right over that mountain over there, that bridge. And this is Joe Hayes Vista looking at campus. So campus is right over here. A lot of the reds are already gone up there. And it's mostly yellows. Even this is Wibbledam State Park. And that was the one lone red tree that still had a few leaves on it. The rest, the colors were really muted back here. So it was a little bit of a disappointment. I think I missed it by a few days, but still beautiful. And I had a tree guy come on Saturday to take down some stuff, and I did not know this. He said that campus tends to, what is happening back here? Don't even know how somebody loses their glasses a row ahead of them, but whatever. But my tree guy was telling me that on camp, he was noticing one of my trees my maples hasn't even started changing yet. And he said it's because it's so close to the house that it's getting the warmth. And he said that campus is a prime example of that you can go on campus and look at a bunch of the trees, and they're a couple of weeks behind trees that are out in the forest. So I thought that was a really neat observation on this part. So this is from this morning from the Climate Office website, lows this morning. Here's your 32-degree demarcation here. So Western Pennsylvania was the center for the chill and coldest morning of the cold season so far across Western Pennsylvania. And here's just another map looking at lows so far today. This is from our, well, I still call it the WSI machine, the MAX machine. The state college number is not correct because the state college number is not the, I shouldn't say not correct, it's not the official, because that comes from the airport. So where do we do our observations and officially for state college? Walker Building. So this does not take the co-op number, it takes the UNB number. And the Weather Service did a nice job with where their frost and freeze warnings were for Western Pennsylvania. I noticed we had been in on Saturday. I saw it pop on my TV screen when we were watching football, and then yesterday it miraculously disappeared. And it looks like that was a good call. Although I did get below freezing at my house, but I'm not in town, so that's not surprising. Now we're going to play a little bit here. I want to just show you, there are some, how many of you students are on, and I still call it Twitter? Are any of you on Twitter? In case there are some people I'd like to introduce you to follow. This was posted by one of our grads, Addis Uklo, yesterday. And he was talking about the fact that Pittsburgh had not dropped into the 30s yet this fall. And so he made this post yesterday in anticipation of the temperature dropping last night. And he said the average first 30-degree start is October 1st. The latest is October 26th. And he said, we will tomorrow tying the fourth latest first 30-degree reading of the season. So 30s, yes, not 30-degree, 30s, yes, 30s. So I thought that was a nice thing that Addis put out. And then Bryant Sell is also one of our grads, and this was early last week. He posted what the first below freezing day is of the year on average, and when the earliest and when the latest. So this was a nice chart that Bryant Sell put together. This was last Wednesday. And these are the major reporting sites, but just interesting things to look at, fun eye candy. But these are just examples of two of our grads who like to dive in and find some really cool data and information. Now, where the information I got from the climate office website when I was talking about records, where did the climate office one go? All right, well, we won't look at that. Oh, here we go. This is Kyle's website, and if you scroll down, scroll, and of course we will be looking at October 24th because that's the data for today. But record high and record low I got from this site. The averages, I took the smooth data. This is not smoothed. So that's where I got the average high and average low. And just to point out that the record high happened in 1975. And I'd just like to point out that that was a really good year. I'll let you guys all figure out why. Here's Bill's data for today. The official low we saw on the Weather World page, it said from UNV 37, but the official low here at Walker was 36. That's the coldest so far this year, right? Yeah. So, but it's this is cold. This chill is not going to hang around. We have a very boring forecast to talk about, friends. Very boring. Let's get rid of some of these. Oh, in case you guys aren't aware, do you guys all know that there's a thing called the Keystone Mesonet? Okay, so I just wanted to make sure that I pointed this out to you. It's interesting to see how the temps have already popped up. There was this one in Forest County was at 27 just a couple of hours ago. So this is really, temps are really on the rise with today's sunshine. And we will now, we'll look at what's happening here on the satellite. We can see the fog in Western Pennsylvania. That's always fun, as Bill likes to say, the veins of fog along the rivers there. That's cool. High pressure is the story of the week, and it's really going to take a while to nudge out of here. Tonight, however, there is going to be an upper level disturbance pretty far to our north, but you can see the mass of clouds here in the Western Great Lakes that is associated with that. And I do think parts of northern Pennsylvania could be cloudy tonight, which means it won't be nearly as chilly as it was last night. One of my favorite sites that I like to first look at before I start diving into things is WPC. And I first like to go to their surface analysis and look at what's been happening over the past 24 hours. And so if I go 24 hours ago and then I slide through, we see that low offshore and the high pressure building in. And this is just one of those things just to give, especially on a Monday morning, if I haven't been looking at stuff during the week, it's just a nice guide. There's also a lot of other cool tabs on this page. You can, if you click on fronts, this gives you an idea of what's going to happen as the week progresses. So you see the high pressure nudging off to the east. We get that southwesterly flow. Look at all the action out to the west. Do any of you pay attention to the weather last week in the US? Does anybody know what was going on in the West? It was essentially a flip-flop of what's happening this week. There was a big ridge out to the west, and there were tons of record highs all up and down the west, not even just the coast, but also into the mountainous areas. And this week they're getting plunged into winter. You can see there Montana having, but we continue to stay under influence of this high pressure until, of course, the weekend, which seems to be a recurring theme here. Before we get into the forecast, I also want to point out a couple of other tabs. You can see how much rainfall is expected for an area with the QPF forecast. And you can also click on, they do a total of days 1 to 2, days 1 to 3, 1 to 5, 1 to 7. So you can see here that from the Southern Plains to the Western Great Lakes and in between, they're going to have what looks like could be a bit of a wet week. They publish an excessive rain outlook. And so for today, it looks like parts of West Texas are in that. And then again, along that, that's where that boundary is going to be settled all week. The chance for excessive rain or rainfall, and then nothing as we go to day 5. And then of course, we can finally click on this one and see some stuff, winter weather. And this gives us an idea of what the probability of snowfall, this one in particular, is for greater than 4 inches. And there it goes. Montana tomorrow may actually see some of the higher elevations, some snow there and into Wyoming. And then they do an outlook that goes out days 4 to 7. If you also click on, where is it? They also do these where you can go for more just 6 hour time periods of probabilistic outlooks for snow. So this is a good tool to use when we have winter weather heading our way. We of course don't, but it's fun to wish and look at things. You can also look out the distance for days 3 to 7, the hazards map. And look at this. This was published last week. They haven't updated it yet today, and they had us in the chill for today. So make a score for you, Weather Prediction Center. You got that. And then finally, the other things I want to show you are on this page under the forecasting tools. This is something I like to use, especially for long range forecasting. This takes the National Weather Service forecasts and tells you whether or not if it's going to be above average or below average for the date. So if you start with today, we're still slightly below average. I would call this as seasonable of the day as anything here in Pennsylvania for late October. But look, you've got that heat in the Central Plains, but as we go through the week, you'll see that front digging into the Northwest. And look, the temperatures just dive well below average. And look at our temperatures, we go well above average. So, and I will talk a little bit more about that in a moment. But I was talking before about, do you think we're going to have record highs later this week? One way to find that out without having to dig into all the records yourself is right here on the WPC website, this NDFD forecast temperature records. This is one of my favorites. So for today, we can click here, and this is for record high temperatures. And if you hover over, let's see this 91 in Kansas. So that's for Dodge City. If you click on the 91, it's saying that the NDFD forecast is for 91 degrees. The record high for the date is 89, ironically set just a year ago. And their records go back to 1874. So this to me is a really fun way to see if we think we're going to have record highs or record lows before you actually have to dig into the actual numbers for yourself. It also does record lows and then low max, meaning cool highs and then warm lows. So low temperatures this week, there's a chance in the central part of the country that there's going to be record warm low temperatures. Is it wrong for me to say warm low? I know it's not. It's just easier to say than high lows because that gets confusing. What's that?
Max min.
Max min. There you go. Max min. And then as far as low maxes, it's going to be chilly out west. So on Thursday here in Burley, Idaho, it looks like the forecast high is only going to be 41 and the record low high is 41 that was set back in 2020. Their records go back to 1917. But back to us, do we think there's going to be record heat here at the end of the week? Well, according to the WPC on Thursday, and my guess is this is probably, the one near Philly is probably not the airport. My guess is it's Franklin Institute. No, it's the airport. So it's saying the forecast high is 77 and the record to beat is 78. So it's close. And then for Friday, you're no longer in it. Let's see, what is this New York one on Saturday? JFK, forecast is 75, record 76. So that's just a nice, easy way to see if you think you're going to have record challenging or record breaking temperatures, which is just a nice, easy way to look at it ahead of time. And again, our lows will be pretty warm. And it looks like, look, Saturday morning, there could be some places that have record max mins. So Erie's going to be close. That's Jamestown is New York. Wilmington, Philly will be closed on Saturday. So, and if you keep an eye on this during the week, and these numbers do change as the forecast numbers change, but it's one of these sites that I enjoy looking at. All right, back to our weather. So we were talking about the fact that we are going to be under this massive ridge this week that's going to help usher in some of that warmth. And then it's going to be boring, pretty dry and warm. Take advantage though while you have it. Also wanted to point out, we have this little thing coming through tonight that can bring some cloud cover, but so this is the GFS. As we get to the middle of this week, let's see, let's go to, so this will be Wednesday night. There's that deep trough in the southwest, another big piece of energy coming into the Pacific Northwest. And then we're still on the fringe of this ridge that's going to keep the boundary at the surface, I think, to our north. And the European actually has it to our north for a longer period of time through the weekend. But you know, it has been raining every Saturday here for how long? So why break that streak? That's how we should forecast. It's pretty moisture starved though. So as we go into Saturday, which of course there is reason to be outside here on Saturday, this is the GFS, doesn't have a lot of moisture with it, but it finally has that front sagging south enough that we may get some precipitation. But again, the heaviest precip would not, I don't think, be affecting us. It won't be as awful as we've had the past couple of weeks. Now the European is a little bit slower on it. This looks slightly different. We've got our ridging as we go into the middle of the week. And then it keeps it there and brings in a little bit of showers Friday and sort of a little bit of showers on Saturday, but not a whole lot to write home about. So I guess that's the good news. The bummer of all this is for our trick-or-treating friends. I think by the time we get to Halloween next Tuesday, the cooler air is going to be making a play at us, and the chance again for some precipitation. Also for you campus weather people, especially if you're not from Pennsylvania, and I don't know how trick-or-treating is where you guys live, but here it's local municipalities decide on when trick-or-treating is happening. I grew up where it was a free-for-all, so as long as it was October 31st, any time of day or night, you could be knocking at somebody's door. That's not how it works here. There's designated trick-or-treat dates and times. This year for the center region, it is on October 31st from 6 to 8. And after 8 o'clock, no more ringing the doorbell. But what's interesting is some years, if October 31st falls on a football Friday or football Saturday, they will actually move trick-or-treating because of children's safety. They don't, because of all the extra traffic in town. But you guys don't have to worry about this year. I'm telling you that only because for campus weather video forecasts, I want you to make sure you guys are saying the right thing. So it's 6 to 8 next Tuesday. I think Altoona, if any of you know anything about Altoona, I think they always do it the Thursday before Halloween. I think every year it's the Thursday, 6 to 8 in Altoona. But yeah, really not much excitement going on. The other thing I did want to point out is there is something still happening in the Atlantic. We still have Tammy. Tammy is still making news, not doing too much, although I do have a friend I grew up with who was supposed to be vacationing in some island here this week and they had to cancel because of that. But there was chatter on Twitter this week that we need to continue to keep an eye on Tammy because next week, Tammy could actually pose a problem to the eastern US. If you go to the NHC forecast, it's still way too far in the distance for any of this to happen. So Tammy continues to maintain hurricane status through early Thursday, and then as it hooks towards Bermuda, becomes a tropical storm by this weekend. But something to still keep an eye on. I know that we haven't been very tropic centric lately because there hasn't been much going on, but Tammy is the thing. She's out there and she's having a party. Is there anything you guys wanted to see? We don't need just me chatting. Oh, I see a hand up. Yes, sir.
That other disturbance, just for the heck
Oh, let's see.
of it, we got stuff.
Let's see, 60%. Regardless of development, the system could produce heavy rains over portions of Central America during the next couple of days. They don't put a actual forecast. Oh, and Norma is still out there. I forgot about Norma. Let's see. Oh, there's Norma in the. But bringing a lot of, there's still key messages for Norma, heavy rainfall. You can see Bill. Let's see how far there, so you can see Tammy on here. This is the European. There's the hook over the weekend, the westward hook, and then it looks like she sort of piddles out. Now we can come back to see the thing that's too far south, unfortunately. Can we go to the, do we still have a tropical? Do these links still work? Do we know? A few of them?
One of the draw.
Okay, let's go to. Here's the thing down. Doesn't look like much, but we still have. This has Tammy then going eastward. Let's look at that. Has Tammy going westward, and then not really. Yeah, it just sits and spins. And let's see our Canadian friends what they have for it. And then it pushes eastward. So Tammy's out there doing her thing. The other thing I wanted to point out, with this front that's just going to sit and linger, there is a chance for some severe weather. So we've got marginal risk for parts of West Texas and Minnesota and Wisconsin today. And that's mainly, I guess, that one's hail for Wisconsin. And then tomorrow, not much of a change because that front's really not going anywhere. And then a slight change as we get into Wednesday. And then days 4 to 8, I don't think there's anything because there's really not much excitement going on. But yeah, by the end of this week, I do think we'll warm up into, we could get into the 70s here. So like I said, enjoy it while you have it. So today, a seasonable day, not getting as cold tonight in some places, and other places it'll stay, if it stays clear here, I think we could get into the mid-30s again. Tomorrow, warming up into the 60s, Western Pennsylvania, low 70s. And then notice our nights, you see those temperatures notching up as well. And yeah, this has us getting into the 70s by Wednesday, and then continue to stay there. And by Friday morning, our low temperatures really not too far for what our average high is for this time of the year. And then high temperature about 10 to 15 degrees above, or 15 plus degrees above average. And look at that, Saturday for tailgating. Saturday will be, if this is the forecast for Saturday morning, that will be higher than what our average low is for this, or average high is for this time of the year. So I guess that's one thing tailgaters can be excited about. And if we stay, if the front stays far to the west, we will be in the 70s for Saturday. So it just depends on when this front actually nudges eastward. But right now it just looks like it's going to linger and take its time, which is good. And maybe you can all get outside and enjoy, because pretty soon we won't be able to, will we? Anything else you guys wanted me to show? No, this isn't the most riveting thing you've ever watched.
Where do we stand in terms of warmest October? It's
Ooh.
gonna push us close.
That's a good question. Did I get rid of Bill's stuff already? Where is? So let's see so far. Month to date statistics. As far as average high, we are 71 out of 128 and pretty warm for lows. We are 1.56 degrees above average.
Long-term average, so that's the 1892.
Okay, so that's long term. So yeah, it will push us up, but I'm so bad with SEASIS. Any SEASIS people in here wanna?
We're not anywhere near warm.
We're not? Cause we did get cold, we got cold
Yeah.
for
We
a
got
little bit.
enough below average days.
At least here, I don't know about country.
Yeah. Yeah, we had those chilly days.
Yeah.
Although it's interesting, because we haven't had a lot of cold nights.
Yeah.
That's the thing that I've noticed. We've had some chilly days, but we haven't had many below average nights.
So we're currently sitting at the 47 warmness, so we got a lot of.
Okay. Anything else? Sorry for the non-excitement here, but Mother Nature doesn't like me. Didn't follow my calendar. Yes, sir.
So, curious, and it might even be just, end up being on the same thing, where do we stand like terms of, visitation for the month, just because we probably won't get as much more for the month.
Precip. We have had 2.04 inches. So it looks like we're right in the middle.
Right. It's wonderful end up being a lot more throughout the month, probably not, it seems like,
Yeah, I mean, we've had quite a few rainy days,
yeah, we have,
but
especially the weekends.
of course, it's always on a Saturday. It's always been a Saturday and Sun, and not just here. It's been all from here all the way to New England. It's been awful for, especially for the tourist places that rely on
Yeah.
the tourist money. It's been crazy. My sister was telling me she was watching TV and heard of one city in New England, she couldn't remember which one it was, that said the last 10 weekends there have been raining. Which, that's a lot. That's a lot. We at least had that last weekend of September, that was nice. But yeah, and actually this upcoming weekend isn't looking terrible compared to what we've had. Which is good.
And it seemed like this weekend wasn't like super rainy, it was just a bit chilly, we had like some rain. But
No, Saturday was funny. I don't know if any of you were looking out the window when it did rain, it poured.
Yeah,
But it would only pour for, 60 seconds. And then, it was just these crazy convective showers that would dump. And then stop, and it would be a while and then do it again. But it was not pleasant. Once that wind kicked in, it was not pleasant.
it's not all. With the cold,
Yes, sir.
Do you think there's a chance of wintry precipitation over the next 2 weeks?
Oh, 2 weeks. You're going 2 weeks out, Dennis. Whoa.
Next week. Tomorrow.
I mean, not in the next few days. Let's head over to our friends at Pivotal. I have not gone out that far, but let's do the 6C GFS here. Here's our high. I mean, it is fun to see the blues on this again, I do have to say, and there's the excitement with that boundary in Montana and Idaho. That's fun. If any of you are in 415, I would wonder if that's where a forecast is going to be. Oh, getting closer, Dennis. I mean, it gets chilly next week, but not. There's some hope. So you're saying there's a chance. That makes me unhappy because look at the date. I want people knocking at my door.
There's been like a signal.
And then very, very windy after that. But let's see. Okay, that's one model. It's one model. Let's now see what the European has to say. We'll go out to next weekend. So this is next weekend for the European. And again, the Euro holds off, I think, a little bit more on the timing. It keeps everything a little delayed. This doesn't having the front move through until Tuesday morning. Ooh, look at that wind. The Euro does not believe that, and then has a little bit of crud in Northwest PA by Wednesday. But yeah, I mean, I don't want to get too excited about anything quite yet. The wish casting can begin, but
It looks colder by all.
it looks colder by Halloween. Yeah, it'll be colder, I think, next week than it is this week. But
Well, so we'll have an October with 0 and stuff.
we might, yeah. Well, I mean, even if that GFS proves true, then yes, because it's 12Z on Tuesday. So yeah, you're right. I wonder how often that happens.
Quite often.
Okay.
Halloween stuff, people are like, oh, October, I'm sorry, it's not.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, I mean, it's a fun time of year because we get these extremes, which is fun. But I'm just sick of the rainy weekends. I want to be able to do stuff. Anything else? I feel like this was really boring. I apologize. It's not much to talk about. But get out and enjoy the leaves while you can, because pretty soon they'll be gone. And good luck to all you students, because I know this is a really long run without having a break. So I know that there's a lot going on. So, you know, be kind to yourselves, try to get outside when you can, especially with the time change in 2 weeks. You got this, you can do it. All right, Christian, is there anything you would like to say?
That's all. Kevin Abbott is in the YouTube chat. He says to make good decisions.
Make good choices, Mr. Abbott, up there in the capital region of New York State. Thank you for watching, Kevin. I miss you. Come visit.
Thanks, President.
All right, thanks, everybody. Hi, Kevin.